All right, let's begin on slide 4. I'll help you with the pronunciation guide when I get back to school next week. So we're on slide 4, Second Continental Congress. Fill in May 10th, 1775. May 10th, 1775. They met in Philadelphia, and in the next bullet, it is 55 men. 55 is what you need to fill in. They are considered the government of the United States during the war. It is much more radical than the First Continental Congress. If the teacher would pause the video and have someone Google the word radical. All right, who is the president of the First Continental Congress? When I'm asking these questions, I want you to kind of mentally think of them, or even raise your hand and tell the substitute before you fill them in. But the first president, of course, is John Hancock, and he is, of course, the person who Hancock County is named after. Two important new members of the Continental Congress are none other than Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin, who we talked about earlier this year. The first act of the Continental Congress was to create what army with who as the leader, and I'm sure you know it is the Continental Army with none other than George Washington, who hinted that he wanted the job by wearing a military uniform to all the meetings. I always say, like, if I wanted to be principal, if the job came open, I might hint that I wanted the job by wearing a suit and tie and dress shoes. All right, let's move on to the next slide, Bunker Hill. And on what hill was Bunker Hill actually fought? And the answer is Breed's Hill. So why do history books call it the Battle of Bunker Hill? Well, it went down in history as Bunker Hill because it sounds more manly than Breed's Hill. It just has a better ring to it, so they just called it that. Bunker Hill is actually next to Breed's Hill. All right, the importance of the battle. It is the first major battle. So fill in major. And it's the first time men from all 13 colonies came to help with somebody, or help with something. What is the famous quote by Colonel William Prescott? He said, of course, "Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes." I always ask students why. If you think about it, they were low on ammunition, the Patriots, so they couldn't afford to waste shots, so they had to wait until people were close enough to see the whites of their eyes. By the way, this is one of those quotes that we're not 100% sure that it really happened. Okay, but it sure sounds good. All right, let's move on to the next slide, part B, the battle. And as I mentioned before, men from all 13 colonies went to Boston, so fill in all 13 colonies. And the next bullet. The British lined up at the bottom of the hill, and then they were given the order to attack! But the British knocked them down. So the British regrouped, and then once again, attack! But the British knocked them down. They got ready for a third assault. Attack! And this time they made it all the way to the top of the hill, and they won. What is the main reason they won? The Patriots ran out of ammunition. That is the main reason they won. Otherwise, they might have never won the battle. But yes, they did win. So put down in the first bullet 3 British assaults on the hill. Then fell out. The third assault was successful because the Patriots ran out of ammo and ran out of ammunition. In the next bullet, the British had 2,500 men and lost over 1,000. The Patriots had 1,600 men and lost 400. All right.
Come on, Fred.
Oh, and by the way, you need to know for the test, Britain won the battle. Once again, they lost more men, but they won because their goal was to take the hill, and they took the hill. All right, part C, the impact. Part C, impact, this is the next slide. There will be no peaceful solution. Fill in peaceful solution. Next bullet. It says the most powerful nation on earth has a big problem. Okay, you got to fill in a long sentence now. Okay, and you may need to pause the video for a second. The British realize it will be difficult to defeat the Americans. The British realize it will be difficult to defeat the Americans. That's what you need to fill in. All right, the next bullet. George III fired Gage. Why in the world do you fire a guy that won both his battles? And the answer is, he lost too many men. And that'll be a test question. Okay, they were poor victories. He lost a lot of men. The new commander, fill in William Howe. William Howe. H-O-W-E, by the way, H-O-W-E. And the last bullet, George III declared martial law. Okay, M-A-R-T-I-A-L, martial law, which means the military is the law. Okay, I want to add one more thing about Howe. This is not something you have to write down. Howe had lived in America for 20 years. He was married to an American. He was totally against the British policy. But when he is named the new commanding general, he's going to be a good soldier and follow orders. Even though he doesn't agree with it, he still follows orders. And I'm asking you for the rest of the week to please be a good soldier for your substitute teacher. Please do what she says, and please cause no behavior problems. I will see you in a video again tomorrow. Thank you.